Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. Stacey Abrams, of course, she lost her bid for governor of Georgia. Could she be the vice presidential running mate for Joe Biden? Well, Axios is reporting that the Biden camp is literally debating this very issue as to whether or not they will announce her as his VP pick to somehow have a unity ticket. Now, normally what happens is the person secures a nomination first, and then they pick their vice president nominee before the Democratic convention. Well, Biden is looking at something quite different. The question for our panel is your thoughts on this. Kelly, I want to start with you. Again, quite untraditional. It could throw people. Biden met with her. It was at his insistence for lunch a couple of weeks ago. What are your thoughts about this possibly happening?
I like it, to be frank. The fact that they're planning this far ahead and actually trying to get something, concrete together, I think would be best especially for the Biden team, because he's almost coming in as an incumbent. He's kind of coming in as Obama 2.0, so to speak. At least that's how people are going to market him. So for him to just have all his ducks in a row and all of his, T's crossed and I's dotted, especially when it comes to a VP pick, I think that's commendable of him. One of the critiques that I heard regarding this matter is, well, when he's on for the debates itself, when the question arises, if you're chosen as the presidential nominee, how come you wouldn't pick one of these people to be your VP? And I think that, frankly, by the time we get to that point, we're going to have enough fodder for each and every one of those picks for him to make a justifiable argument as to why they shouldn't be VP and why Abrams should be VP.
Joseph, I'm going to go to you. First of all, I understand the dance here. To me, I don't think it's a smart move. It has nothing to do with Stacey Abrams. What it has to do with is, I believe, first of all, Biden is not guaranteed to win the nomination. And I believe that you actually have to take all the folks through baptism by fire. Stacey Abrams also could announce she's going to run for president. So unless she's giving him some kind of indication, that's also out there as well. I just think if you're Biden, you better focus on you. You better focus on you trying to get the nomination, as opposed to thinking, well, if I go ahead and pick her, that might help me get the nomination. I just think that I wouldn't necessarily support the move. Joseph, your thoughts?
Well, it's got a couple of downsides. The first is Stacey Abrams can make her own decision. I mean, she doesn't necessarily need Joe Biden to be her queen maker, if you will. Secondly, it's kind of it has a little whiff of pandering to it, to the black community. It also seems like, the third point is, it seems like he's trying to offload some baggage that he's got, number one, with the Clarence Thomas and Anita Hill hearing, where he didn't comport himself all that well with a black woman who was under fire. And second, the fact that he's an old white guy, which, I have to say, I do admire Joe Biden. I think he's got really good political skills. He was part of the winning ticket. But the optics really aren't that great for white guys this year in the Democratic nomination. So I think he's trying to help himself. But also, Abrams has got to weigh this move. He may not get the nomination against her own future and her own ambitions. What happens if he fails? What happens if there are better candidates out there? Or what happens if she decides to run for president herself? It's got some upsides. The downsides, I think, make it a no for me.
Greg Carter?
Yeah, I think about, I spent 17 years in Philadelphia, and another adopted son of that city, Allen Iverson, with his crossover dribble. He could freeze his defender. Joe Biden, this is what he got. This is what he does, right? You meet with Stacey Abrams. Now you've in the fence. You've frozen the critique for a moment. Don't pick her now. Pick her after the convention. But by inviting her into the conversation, because here's what's not going to happen. Two white people are not going to beat Donald Trump. Donald Trump has got everything going from the wall to ADOS to scaring people about people. No. So he's already got his fear piece. Stacey Abrams and Andrew Gillum are arguably the two rising stars of the Democratic Party. We know that more often governors are elected more often than people from the Senate. And as far as I'm concerned, most of the non-white people in this field so far, and this is early, of course, we know, are really auditioning for vice president. So if it's Kamala Harris as VP or Cory Booker as VP, that's strong. But I'm going to tell you, Stacey Abrams looks real good to me as a vice presidential pick. And all Biden has to do is float the idea now. And with that crossover, just hold everybody in freeze. And he can pick her this time next year or after the convention if he wins. But I'm telling you, if Abrams is the bottom of that ticket, it could be Biden. It can't be Warren. I don't think two women could do it. But I do think if it was O'Rourke or if it was Bernie Sanders, Stacey Abrams will bring black people out in her mid-40s because they think in 8 years from now, that's the president of the United States, brother.
Which is another reason not to lock it in right now.
Yeah, no, true.
I just feel like...
First of all, here's the first piece. Joe Biden got to decide if he's going to run.
True.
So, I mean, so all this other talk about who he might pick, at the end of the day, Joe, hurry the hell up. Time you get in the race, okay? Stop wasting time.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Calling all HBCU alumni, students, and leaders, enter the Ford Motor Company HBCU Mobility Challenge and win $25,000 for your school. Building on their long-term support of HBCUs, Ford is looking to improve mobility in HBCU communities through innovative solutions. The winning program will receive a grant up to $25,000 to implement their proposal. The deadline is near March 31st, 2019. Go to FGB.Life, FGB.Life for more information and to apply. Ford goes further in our community, and we certainly thank them for being a partner here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.